Oh great, it's leg day again. All right, so today we're gonna go over different styles of squat: high bar, low bar, Smith, hack squat, even some dumbbell stuff, kind of my thought process going through it and how you can tweak it and get even more of each one of those styles. So if you're ready, kick those shoes off, let's get after it. Almost hit myself in the face.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
So when it comes to choosing whether to do high or low bar squats, probably the politically correct answer is do what feels best. But I think that's a horrible answer. There's no way to measure that. Plus, I don't really care how you feel. I think the real question is, do you have quads that embarrass your entire family? If so, you're gonna wanna do more high bar squats. With that being said, I know they suck. If you try to start out with them, your knees are gonna sound like a fresh bowl of Rice Krispies. So the key is not to start out with them. Make sure your knees are primed. So make them the second, third, or even just the last exercise you do. And yeah, your numbers are not gonna be great, but your quads can't count. If you can make 225 feel like 315 and still get the same kind of damage on those quads, that's just as good. So if inner thigh thickness is a problem, maybe your glutes are a little underdeveloped, then low bar squats are the way to go. One thing, your knees won't be a crunchy mess as long as you load those hips correctly and keep those knees shifted back. You can actually start with these and not have a problem. And the second thing has to do with the previous video, which I'll link up top, which is complete pauses. These are a great candidate for those because at the bottom, you'll be instantly more connected to those glutes, but also if your knees ever collapse in, this will make you consciously work on that form, focusing on driving those knees out and actually contracting up through the right muscles.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots right.
So when Roman reached out and they wanted to sponsor another video, I said, yeah, but on one condition. It's gotta be for ED. Because one, I know I can make that funny. And two, I've dealt with it before. Before I figured out I had sleep apnea, treatment options like they have are the only thing that carried me through. So I can completely empathize, and especially in times like this when it's hard enough to get help for common men's health conditions, when you can't even leave your house. And when you're dealing with something like erectile dysfunction, and you got your partner mean mugging you from across the room, you want help ASAP. And in my experience, even after I got my CPAP, got my sleep apnea taken care of, didn't have any more issues, once you know what it's like to have superpowers, there's no going back. Don't believe me? Get there. And that's when my friends at Roman spent years building a digital platform that you can connect with a doctor licensed in your state, all from the comfort of your own home. And all you have to do is grab your phone or your computer and complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a US licensed physician within 24 hours. So if your doctor decides treatment's right for you, Roman's Pharmacy will ship your medication with free 2-day shipping. Also, you get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor, so any questions you may have or anytime you want to adjust your treatment plan, it's that simple. And then again, with Roman, no commitments, you can cancel anytime. So to me, seems like a no-brainer. If you're dealing with ED, go to getroman.com/Ryan for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. And I think the real question is, whether or not you use it a lot, how cool would it be to have a kickstand? Again, that's getroman.com/Ryan for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Fuck yeah. All right, let's go over hack squat. Now, when I'm doing hack squat, my whole goal in life is to destroy my quads. If I get any other muscles involved and they get a little sore, great, but that's not my focus. What I really want to do is just destroy those quads to a point where I get that beautiful broken glass soreness in there that you can't get from any other exercise. And I really love this for people who their biggest issue is ankle inflexibility, and that's what's holding them back. Because unlike a regular squat, which can deceive you and make you think you're making progress and those ankles are getting more mobile, and they're not. It's really just your back rolling out and that's all that's happening. With this, as long as your back's completely flat on the pad and you walk those feet down to a position that's comfortable but still stresses the mobility of those ankles just a little bit, you'll notice even after the first couple sets, you'll be a little bit more flexible, and then over time, it just gets better and better. So my go-to on these is I walk my feet down as low as possible, do a couple reps and make sure I'm not driving through my toes. If I am, walk it up a hair. And the biggest thing for me, toes out just slightly, open those knees up as I go down, and then a complete pause at the bottom, making sure I'm driving through those heels. So a good test on these is if you do them with socks and your feet don't slide up and you're still driving from your heels, that means your ankle flexibility is pretty phenomenal, because at that point, they're so far underneath you that you're driving straight down and not up and away.
Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night.
Next up, we got Smith squat, and there's two ways I like to do these. The first is glute and ham dominant. The second, all quads. So for the glute variation, you're gonna walk those feet out as wide as you comfortably can. I'd even err on the side of being a little uncomfortable as long as you can keep those knees pushed out as you go. Second thing is you wanna walk those feet a little bit forward and lean back the entire time. You never want that butt to drift back underneath the bar because that puts too much pressure on your spine. And then from there, we're living at the bottom doing partial reps. Now the next one looks ridiculous, works incredibly well. What you're gonna do these is walk those feet in nice and close, point them straight, make sure those knees track as you go down, and they're gonna really drift over top of your toes, which is fine. If you had good knees before, they're gonna be good after because we're not doing any explosive movements here. It's a nice controlled movement. Go down, sit at the bottom, and then contract it up. Now I understand this takes a ton of ankle flexibility, so there's a modifier. If you can't do it, throw a 5 under your feet. If that's not enough, a 10. From there, even a 25, there's gonna be a degree that really bridges the gap between your ankle flexibility and how to do these properly. You'll be able to get it done.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
One thing to note on the quad variation is if you want to get even more out of it, make sure you're driving through your heels, but also as you come up, start to lift those toes up. Really, really, really rock back into those heels. It's gonna flex those quads that much harder. So I can count on my hand the number of times I've squatted that wasn't a front squat variation because holding them out to the side, to me, that's just inefficient. Your knees are in the way, doesn't make sense. Holding them in close, now you're just doing basically a deadlift at that point. I wouldn't even categorize it as a squat. That's a sumo deadlift. But that's partially because of how good the dumbbell version of these are. Because unlike the barbell where you're basically just choking yourself to death, you have a better connection to your legs doing the dumbbells. Now, unless you're into autoerotic asphyxiation, which in my younger years, right there with you. But now, stick to dumbbells.
When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting.
I actually have to switch cameras because I've been here for so long. My go-to dumbbell squat has to be this one, where I put my heels on a dumbbell. That way I have no ankle flexibility issues. I can keep my back nice and straight. And then from there I have another dumbbell, really treating it like a front squat. So basically we're doing a sissy squat, not coming all the way up, nice control, and then putting all that pressure on those quads.
To the very end. Many men try to reach it. Many men have failed.
So as always, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment the video want me to do next. Hopefully it's something in the gym because it is so much more fun in here. Get after it, get growing. Talk to you soon.
Hope they won't.